message from two fandoms I represent, Supernatural and Revolution. Supernatural is, we'll miss you and damn you for breaking our hearts.
Okay.
And Revolution, thank God, come to help our show.
All right.
So there we go.
All right. I guess, so I'm breaking even.
Yes.
All right, cool.
So tell us a little bit about how you're coming to help the show.
Does fire come out of that?
Seriously,
Yes.
that looks like a teaser.
My recorder, Frank couldn't be here. He asked me to record for him.
Tell me, sorry.
Yeah, well, tell us about your character. Tell us what you're doing with the show.
Me, I'm a writer and a consulting producer.
You've just come in, so
Yeah, but
bringing
my
in
character
some-
is mostly kleptomaniac. I steal office
What'd you
supplies.
steal?
Just Post-its, highlighters. I have 100 highlighters from the show already.
Creatively, what do you bring?
Yeah, exactly.
Pardon me, I'm just being a goofball. Creatively, I have a history. I've worked with Eric a lot, and a history of left fieldness. I live in the left field, and so weirdness, a certain kind of, coming from, I'd say a certain perspective is part of what I bring. I don't know. I feel like you're asking me to sort of toot my own horn. I'm good.
What are you good at?
Good at writing, good at making stuff up, good at world building. This is an extraordinary chance. This is the second season to generate, really, I think one of the most ambitious genre worlds we've got, and it's played in a certain sphere, a small corner of what it has rights to. And as we expand it, I think it will go increasingly interesting, obviously. And I think that once we begin to really, it's all here. The seeds have been sort of literally laid in the planet for this nanotechnological aspect of this conceit. We have the human map and what's been done to humanity as this 15-year kind of shift in their hold on the planet's taking place. So we get all this futurism we get to do from that angle, and we get this amazing. No other show is doing this nanotechnological investigation. It is the living sort of. It is the exact meeting point of science and magic.
Is that what drew you to it?
What's that?
Is that what drew you to the show?
Yeah, for sure. Well, when Eric started to discuss the show in its infancy, he was at Supernatural, so I happened to sit in on its creation at a couple of key points. So in a way, I, as opposed to being drawn by this show, I was just sort of appeared next to it was there, and so I'm just happy to step over and enjoy it because it's a right new place to live.
Do you find yourself working on your quirky sense of humor, maybe lightening up the show?
I'm working on that because there's a certain level of fraughtness, which I think is an important aspect of the post-apocalyptic universe. But I think that there's all kinds of areas to bring in a little more humor. I think a little more air in that it is, I think, if that's the way I can answer your question from before too. If I bring something, there might be a little bit of air and humor. It's a natural, defense mechanism of my writing style, so it might happen.
So can you tell us, maybe this is a cryptic question, but how do the nanobots respond exactly to a bomb going off?
It's a good question, yeah. I mean, how do they respond to all this stuff is a really, to me, one of the most fascinating questions, I think without breaking any sort of wrong news.
We're always trying to trick you.
You can't trick me, lady. Well, you probably can. It's the bombs going off and the interaction in the tower. The turning off and the turning on, right? These are essentially the turning off and turning on of the nanites was a global event for them, and basically something's happened. If that was a fully raveled sweater that had two jobs, replicate and interrupt the flow of electricity from disparate charged bodies, and just stop that. Something, the thread has come loose in what was a fairly solved situation, which, without getting, it really opens a corridor to an amazing variety of permutations. The world is going to go nuts.
Everything goes, will we see the rest of the world?
Slowly, yeah. What's nice is it'll start the same way that we've learned, like last season, you heard about Blanchard and you heard about Texas, but we didn't. There wasn't any kind of concrete stuff coming from Texas. And here we get that, and like so now we're in Texas and we're investigating the rumors that were the rumors of that season. So now we'll hear. Because we're in Texas, we're going to start to hear about Mexico. What are they having problems? They're having problems with Mexico. What is California really? And I think looking into religion is going to be interesting. I think looking into just a variety of the cultural aspects that, because we were in a kind of military campaign world last season, that was investigated. There's so many other areas of this universe to look at.
Will there be problems in society as the show goes on? Which over those 15 years have developed very differently from each other?
That's exactly what we want. I mean, basically, the breakdown of communication is the breakdown of what we are facing now, which is looking at an increasing level of generic for us. You know, we're all culturally wiring into a mass, like this invisible kind of homogenizing force, which is ultimately probably good for us to learn how to be with each other and understand each other. But that disappears, and then you'll get to these Madagascars and Australias that have these like potent, so that they're gonna have their own like florid, you know, outgrowths of crazy society that will get more omnivorous. If I've got anything to say about it, and I always say things, if anyone hears me, we'll see. I mean, that's the spirit of it. Everyone in the room is like, let's look into let's lift stones and see what are the kinds of like the cultures in a yogurt sense.
Lots of culture, yeah. So you're saying you're focusing on Texas. That's really interesting. Is that why they're moving to Austin?
It's kind of a hand in hand of like we found moving to Austin made a lot of sense in a lot of different areas, and it felt good to think in terms of what we wanted is same world, same problems that you want to feel like the story is, and it's very much we'll see that it's a shaped story that has a key inciting event and a saga that's going to be a whole shape. But like, we'll just be being able to explore this new range of territory is the breath of air I think that this show needs, and it wants to breathe in so that it can have full lungs. Didn't have to follow that metaphor all over.
I like that one, actually. That's very vivid imagery. But so does that mean that we'll see like some local stuff of Austin covered in vines and looking all decrepit?
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, there'll be we're not going to play Austin for. We'll be outskirts of Austin most of it, at least in the first part. But we're going to get into increased interaction with Texas because we're being a small town that's kind of in Texas, but like not quite. They're not able to fully protect it because their forces are being involved in other things. Texas is primarily a culture that's I think we're all on the same page. It's it's like a theocracy that's a fusion of the church and the Rangers. The Texas Rangers, and like they're I think an
so just like it is now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is actually. I feel like I'm just like home.
Yeah. No, you're from Texas.
Yeah.
Or
That's
you're
why I'm
psychotic.
excited.
No.
That's why I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, it should be cool.
What about them and working in relationships like this? Like it ended with kind of Miles and Bass now back on the same team. So how is that? How are you running with setups like that?
There's a period of time that there'll be a jump between seasons where we'll, I think that we're allowed to say that. We're totally allowed to say that. Where like everyone resets in a different way, and what feels like would be the necessary next chapter will be I think the right kind of delicious shift of your expectations. Like no one gets to land in the slots that feel like they would land if everyone just had a picnic outside the tower. You know what I mean? Like instead, the flow of events is still volcanic, and everyone lands at different points, and they have a resolution in their relationship to a degree. In some ways, because they kind of break even in terms of like, no one has the get out of jail free card. They're cool, right? In a sense, but they have other underlying things that made those differences occur in the first place. I think people will be interested to see where they go. As a pair of pair of friends that have the weirdest relationship. Yeah.